The galaxy was quiet. Its quiet stars blinked silently in the vast darkness. Planets spun slowly around their suns. But beneath this calm, something was wrong. Deep inside the Galactic Council headquarters, alarms suddenly echoed. Red lights flashed. A soft but strange signal was detected. Commander Varric stood at the control panel, his eyes scanning the readings. "What is this?" he whispered. The signal was weak, faint, like a whisper carried on the wind of space. It repeated over and over. No one had ever seen anything like it. The Council's best scientists gathered quickly. They tried to decode the message, but it was unlike any known language or code. "Is it a distress call?" asked a young technician. Nervously watching the monitors, "No one knows," Varric said grimly. "But if it is, then whoever sent it is in deep trouble." Far from the Council chambers, many alien races received the signal, but chose to ignore it. "The galaxy is tired of war," said Lady Zalara, leader of the Varnari. "We have enough problems already," the Krelthak merchants murmured. This signal could mean danger, or it could be a trap. One by one, the great powers of the galaxy turned away, unwilling to risk anything. But on the edge of the galaxy, on a rough, harsh world called Karos, the humans known as Deathworlders picked up the signal loud and clear. Karos was a planet where nothing easy lived. Its skies burned red, and fierce storms tore through jagged mountains. Only the strongest survived. Commander Zara Malik listened carefully to the faint sounds. Her sharp mind pieced together the strange pattern. "This is a call for help," she said, "and we are the only ones who heard it." Her crew looked worried. "We don't even know who sent this," said Lieutenant Sam Wells. "It could be a trap." Zara's eyes burned with determination. Sometimes, when the galaxy turns its back, hope must come from those who refuse to give up. She turned to her ship's captain, Alina Hayes. "Prepare the Endeavor. We're going after that signal, no matter the cost." As the Endeavor launched into the blackness of space, the crew felt the weight of their choice. They did not know what awaited them. Only that the faint signal was the last hope for someone, maybe many. And when the Deathworlders answered, the galaxy would never be the same. The Endeavor cut through the darkness, its engines burning bright against the endless black of space. Inside, Commander Zara Malik stood firm, her eyes fixed on the blinking consoles. The signal had been weak, but now they were close around her, the crew prepared for whatever lay ahead. The Deathworlders were no strangers to danger. They were humans, bred and forged on worlds so cruel that survival itself was a battle. Zara remembered the stories she had grown up hearing. On planets where acid rains fell, where the ground was poisoned and predators hunted in endless darkness, these worlds shaped humans into warriors. Tough, relentless, and fearless. "Lieutenant Sam Wells, check the ship's systems again." "Our sensors show nothing yet. The signal is getting stronger." "Good," Zara said. "The source is near." In the ship's common room, the crew gathered. They were a mix of hardened soldiers, engineers, and explorers. All had one thing in common. They had survived Deathworlds. Jox, a tall man with scars running down his face, spoke quietly. "We don't know what's waiting for us. This could be a trap, or worse, war we cannot win." Zara nodded. "We don't have a choice. The galaxy needs us. If no one else will answer the call, then we must." Alina Hayes, the ship's captain and chief engineer, joined the group. "The Endeavor is ready for anything. Our weapons are charged and shields are strong." A murmur of approval spread among the crew. Even in the face of the unknown, they trusted their ship and each other. Meanwhile, on other worlds, the great alien powers watched from afar. Lord Vrax of the Talkari. Empire sneered. "Humans think they can save the galaxy? They are fools. Their death worlds make them tough, but not strong enough." Lady Zalara, the Varnari leader, whispered, "The signal is a warning, but it also means trouble. The Deathworlders' arrival could change everything." The galaxy was a place of shifting alliances and hidden fears. The arrival of the Deathworlders had stirred old tensions and new hopes. Back on the Endeavor, the ship entered a region filled with strange cosmic storms. Lightning arced across space, and dense clouds of gas blocked their path. "Careful," Elena warned. "This is no ordinary storm." Sensors are acting strange. Suddenly, alarms blared. A squadron of enemy ships appeared from the storm, weapons charging. "Pirates," shouted Sam. "They don't want us near the signal." Zara gripped the armrest. "Battle stations. Show them why Deathworlders never back down." The Endeavor leaped into action.
Ow.
Lasers fired, shields flared, and the fight was fierce. But the crew was prepared. They moved with speed and precision, outsmarting the pirates. When the last enemy ship exploded in a blaze of fire, the Endeavor was damaged but still flying. "Damage report," Zara ordered. "We took hits to the engines and shields," Elena said, "but nothing we can't fix." Zara looked out at the storm, feeling the weight of what was ahead. "The signal is close," she said softly. "And so is the truth." The faint call for help grew louder in the darkness. The Deathworlders were ready to answer, no matter what awaited them. The Endeavor pushed deeper into the unknown regions of space. Outside the thick windows, the stars seemed to blur as they passed through pockets of cosmic dust and shadow. The signal grew stronger, pulling them forward like a distant beacon of hope or danger. Commander Zara Malik stood at the bridge, her face lit by the soft glow of the control panels. The hum of the engines and the quiet chatter of her crew filled the room, but her mind was focused on the question no one dared ask out loud: what exactly were they heading toward? The crew felt it too, a mix of fear and determination. None of them had ever seen a signal like this. It was ancient in parts, almost as if the message was carved out of space itself, repeating in cycles, begging for attention. Lieutenant Sam Wells adjusted the sensors, narrowing the range. "We're getting interference," he said, brow furrowed. "Space storms ahead. They're blocking some of the signal. I'm rerouting power to the shields." This region is notorious for violent ion storms and gravity wells. Zara's eyes never left the front screen. "Keep us steady. We can't afford to lose the signal now." The Endeavor plunged into the storm. Bright flashes of energy lit the void as electrical arcs danced across the ship's hull. The ship shook violently, throwing crew members off balance. "Hold tight," Zara shouted. "Maintain course." For hours they battled the storm's fury, the very forces of nature, itself seeming to test their resolve. Sensors flickered on and off, communications scrambled. In the mess hall, the crew gathered when the turbulence lessened. Quiet conversations filled the room. JX, the scarred soldier, spoke with a grim tone. "This storm isn't natural. I've seen storms on Karos, but this feels different." A low murmur of agreement passed among the crew. Deathworlders were trained for the worst, but even they could feel the weight of the unknown pressing. And suddenly, the ship's alarms blared again. The sensors detected fast-moving objects approaching. "Pirates. Again," Sam growled. "They don't want us near the signal." Zara's jaw clenched. "Prepare for battle. Shields up, weapons ready." The bridge lit up with the flashing red of enemy fighters emerging from the storm's shadows. Their sleek black ships moved with deadly speed. Surrounding the Endeavor, enemy ships on all sides, Elena reported. "They're trying to trap us." The battle was fierce. Laser beams sliced through space. The Endeavor weaved and dodged, firing back with precision. Explosions lit the dark void as ships collided. Despite their skill, the crew knew they couldn't hold forever. Zara's voice rang out clear and calm. "Focus fire on the lead ship. Take it down and they'll retreat." It's past like ours. Finally, the lead pirate ship exploded in a fiery blast. The remaining enemies fled, leaving the Endeavor battered but unbroken. Repairs began immediately. Elena and her team worked tirelessly to fix the damage. "The storm and pirates were coordinated," she said. "Someone doesn't want us to reach." "That signal, who?" Zara wondered aloud. With the ship patched, they pressed on. Weeks passed as they crossed empty star systems and silent voids. Strange phenomena appeared: massive black holes, glowing nebulae, and ruins of long-dead civilizations. Each discovery brought new questions. On one quiet night, Zara stood alone in the observation deck, staring out at a distant star cluster. The signal was clearer now, almost a call for help. Her thoughts were interrupted by a soft chime. "Sam," Approached quietly, Commander. We picked up a transmission. It's faint, but... Zara turned sharply. A voice from where? Coordinates point to a planet on the edge of the system. Psst. The signal matches the distress call we're following. What? The crew gathered around as the voice repeated a simple phrase in an unknown language, but with a tone of desperate hope. The Endeavor changed course. Ahead lay a planet shrouded in darkness. Its surface cracked and broken. No life signs yet, only the lingering echo of tragedy. Zara felt a chill. This was no ordinary rescue mission. It was a journey into the heart of mystery and danger. We are not just answering a call, she said softly. We are stepping into the unknown. The crew readied themselves. Whatever awaited on that dark world could change their lives and the fate of the galaxy. Forever. The Endeavor glided closer to the dark planet that had sent out the faint, desperate signal. Through the ship's observation windows, the crew saw a world unlike any they had ever known, its surface cracked like old scars. Jagged mountains casting long shadows, and swirling clouds of ash that blocked out the stars. This planet looks dead, said Jox, his voice low and uncertain. Why would anyone send a distress call from here? Commander Zara Malik stood tall, her eyes sharp. There is life here? Or there was. Someone wants to be found. And that means hope still burns, even in the darkest places. The Endeavor entered orbit, scanning the planet's surface for signs of activity. Their sensors picked up faint energy. Readings just enough to confirm that the signal was not a trick. We're not alone, Lieutenant Sam Wells said, excitement mixed with caution. Zara nodded. Prepare the landing team. Each knew the dangers of landing on an unknown death world. Toxic air, violent weather, hostile creatures, and the unknown forces that might await them. Captain Alina Hayes checked the ship's systems one last time. The Endeavor will hold orbit. Communications will stay open. If you don't return in 48 hours, we'll come get you. Zara gathered her team, Jox, Sam, and 2 engineers. We go in light and fast. Keep your eyes open. The landing shuttle broke through the thick clouds and descended toward a rocky valley scarred by ancient floods. The ground trembled beneath them, and lightning cracked across the sky. When the shuttle touched down, the crew stepped out into a cold wind that burned their lungs. The air was thick with ash and dust. We'll need suits, Alina reminded through comms. Keep your helmets sealed. Zara led the way, scanning the terrain. Strange plants, blackened and twisted, clung to the rocks. Craters and ruins dotted the valley, telling stories of destruction and survival. Look at this, Sam called, pointing to a half-buried structure. It's not natural. They approached carefully. The ruins looked like a shelter, old and broken, but still standing, inside. They found markings on the walls, symbols and pictures that hinted at a lost civilization. Some showed figures begging for help. Others warned of an unstoppable force. Jox frowned. These people were desperate. They fought to survive. Asked one of the engineers. No, Zara, said voice tight. Something bigger. From the shadows of the valley, strange shapes emerged, creatures unlike any seen before. Their bodies were tough and scarred, eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. Zara raised her weapon, prepared to defend. We're not alone here. The creatures moved quickly but with caution. They made low, guttural sounds, a language of survival, Sam. Tried to communicate through the universal translator, but it barely worked. The ground cracked open, and a massive machine rose from below, a weapon of ancient power. It's half buried and still active. This is what those markings warned about, Zara said. It's an ancient war machine. It could destroy everything. Crew realized the distress signal wasn't just a call for rescue, it was a warning. Back on the Endeavor, if it fires, it could wipe out this entire system. Zara's voice crackled through comms. We need to shut it down. But it won't be easy. The team prepared for the hardest fight of their lives. As night fell over the shadowed world, the crew faced enemies seen and unseen. The ancient machine hummed with deadly energy. Creatures watched from the dark. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Zara whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning." The ruins lay silent under the darkening sky, as the crew of the Endeavor prepared to face the ancient war machine. The massive construct, half buried in the rocky valley, pulsed with energy like a sleeping giant stirring to life. Commander Zara. Malik studied the readings from her portable scanner. The machine's core glowed faintly beneath layers of metal and stone. If it fully activated, the destruction would be unimaginable, not just to the planet, but to the entire star system. "We have to shut it down," Zara said firmly. "But we don't know how." Lieutenant Sam Wells examined the strange symbols etched into the machine's surface. "These markings, they might be a control panel. Ancient technology, but maybe still functional." Jox checked his weapons. "We can't fight this with guns alone. We need to get inside and stop it from waking up." Elena Hayes' voice crackled through the coms. "The Endeavor will provide cover from orbit. Can't let any reinforcements come through." The landing party moved cautiously toward the war machine. Every step was heavy with tension. Creatures from earlier watched silently from the shadows, neither attacking nor helping. Zara felt the weight of the moment. This was more than a mission. It was a race against time, an unknown enemy. "Stay close," she ordered. "Use the scanners. Look for any weak points." The surface of the machine was cold and rough, covered in layers of dust and strange markings. Sam knelt down, tracing the symbols with his gloved fingers. Suddenly, the machine emitted a low hum, and lights flickered along its hull. "It's responding to us," Sam said. Voice tense, Zara reached out to press a panel, but a sudden shockwave threw the team back. The ground trembled violently. The war machine was waking. Back on the ship, alarms blared. Elena's fingers flew over the controls as she worked to stabilize the orbit. "We have company," she said grimly. "Enemy ships are entering the system. They want that machine active." Zara's jaw tightened. "They'll have to get through. Us first." On the planet, the team entered a narrow access shaft that led inside the war machine. The air was thick and stale, filled with the hum of ancient power. Inside, walls glowed with strange runes that shifted and moved like living light. The corridors twisted and turned, a maze of forgotten technology. Sam scanned the area. "This place is alive somehow. It's protecting itself." X kept his weapon ready. "Watch for traps." Deep in the heart of the machine, they found a control chamber. The core pulsated with energy, surrounded by strange consoles and holographic displays. Zara approached a console, trying to understand the controls. "If we can shut this down, we save countless lives." Suddenly the room shook again. The machine's defense systems activated, energy barriers, and automated. Turrets sprang to life. The crew ducked behind cover as laser fire tore through the chamber. "We need to disable those defenses," Zara shouted. Sam worked quickly, hacking into the systems despite the interference. Sweat dripped down his face as he fought the ancient codes. Outside, the battle raged. Enemy fighters swarmed the Endeavor, trying to break through the ship's defenses. Elena pushed the ship to its limits, firing back with everything they had. "We can't hold them forever," she warned. Inside the machine, Sam found a way to overload the defense grid. "Almost there," he muttered, fingers flying across the holographic keyboard. With a final command, the defenses shut down. The room went silent except for the hum of the core. Zara stepped forward, placing her hand on the control panel. "Now, to shut this nightmare down." Right. The machine pulsed one last time, and then went dark. Outside, the storm cleared. Enemy ships retreated, leaving the system safe, at least for now. The crew of the Endeavor stood together, battered but victorious. Zara looked at the dark sky and whispered, "This is only the beginning. There's more out there, and they will come." The war machine lay silent beneath the cracked skies of the Deathworld, its deadly power finally stilled. But victory felt hollow to Commander Zara Malik and her team. The cost of survival weighed heavy on their shoulders. Back aboard the Endeavor, the crew worked tirelessly to repair the ship and tend to their wounded. The battle had drained their energy and hope alike. Alina Hayes paced the command deck, her face tight with worry. "This fight is far from over," she said quietly, staring at the dark starfield. "We've only scratched the surface of what's coming." Zara stood, beside her, eyes fixed on the planet below. The distress signal was just the start. Something forced them to call for help, and that something will return. Jox, leaning against a bulkhead, nodded. The war machine was their last line of defense. If it came to life, it would have destroyed everything. "We stopped it, but for how long?" Sam added. "Our sensors picked up strange readings after the shutdown. Energy signatures that don't match any known tech. Something still lives on that planet." Their thoughts were interrupted by an urgent alarm. A new signal flashed on the main screen, a distress call weaker than before. Coming from deep within the ruins, Zara's voice was firm. "Prepare. A team, we go back." As they descended again into the dark world, the crew felt the planet's eerie silence press in around them. The ruins hid secrets, and not all were friendly. This time, they found signs of life survivors hidden in underground shelters. Thin, tired figures emerged, eyes wide with fear and hope. One survivor, an alien named Cathar, stepped forward. "Your arrival saved us, ... but the darkness is not gone. The real enemy comes soon." Zara exchanged glances with her team. The message was clear. Their mission had only just begun. Back on the Endeavor, they pieced together what the survivors revealed. An ancient evil, locked away for centuries, was awakening. The war machine was only a part of a greater plant, to conquer, destroy, and enslave. Elena's voice was steady but cold. "We have to warn the galaxy. We must prepare to fight harder than ever." In the depths of space, alien fleets moved. Closer, alerted by the chaos. Their intentions dark and unforgiving. Zara looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of destiny. They came to us for help. Now, we must answer with everything we have. The crew braced for war. The galaxies. Fate depended on them. The galaxy was waking up to a new threat. Across the vast star systems, warnings flashed on every command bridge, every council chamber. The ancient evil, once thought sealed away, was stirring once more. On board the Endeavor, Commander Zara Malik stood by the main viewport, watching as the ship raced through space toward the heart of the growing storm. The distant stars seemed colder, darker, as if the shadows themselves were reaching out to snuff out the light. "We can't wait," Zara said, her voice low but fierce. "If we delay, entire worlds will fall." Lieutenant Samwells nodded, fingers moving swiftly over the tactical displays. "Enemy fleets are gathering beyond the Veil Nebula. Their numbers are huge, far more than we expected." Jox checked his weapons, a grim smile crossing his face. "They think they can scare us with numbers. They don't know who they're facing." The crew prepared for war, every member trained and ready. Engineers repaired weapons, medics patched wounds, and strategists planned their moves. Alina Hayes coordinated from the bridge, her comm commands slicing through the tension. Suddenly, a new message arrived, a transmission intercepted from enemy forces. The voice was cold, mechanical. "Your kind cannot stop the inevitable. Resistance is pointless. Surrender or be destroyed." Zara's eyes flashed. "We answer with fire." The Endeavor led a fleet toward the Veil Nebula, a swirling cloud of cosmic dust and energy. The enemy waited, hidden within the shadows, ready to strike. The battle began without warning. Explosions lit the void like distant stars dying. Laser fire tore through space, engines flared in desperate maneuvers. The roar of combat echoed through the ship's hull. Zara's voice rose above the chaos. "Hold the line, protect the civilians. We fight for every star." Amid the chaos, the Endeavor launched its special teams elite squads trained to board enemy ships, sabotage their systems, and turn the tide from within. Jax led one such team, slipping through enemy defenses with silent precision. Inside the flagship, corridors were dark and twisted. filled with unknown creatures and deadly traps. Stay sharp, Jox whispered. We're here to make sure they never forget the cost of war. Back on the Endeavor, Sam uncovered disturbing data. The enemy was powering a massive weapon, planet-destroying superweapon fueled by the very darkness the ancient war machine had once fought against. We have to stop that weapon, Sam warned. If it fires, entire systems will be erased. Zara's jaw tightened. Then we take the fight to their heart. No retreat. As the battle raged, a terrifying message came from deep space. A dark fleet was arriving, ships larger and deadlier than anything the galaxy had seen before. Their shapes were twisted, blackened by unknown energy. Alina stared at the display, voice barely a whisper. This is no ordinary enemy. Us? This is something else. Zara clenched her fists. Become something else too. You fight like the galaxy's last hope. The fate of millions hung in the balance. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. Zara looked to her crew. We've come this far. Now we finish it, together. And with that, the Endeavor surged forward into the dark heart of war. The black fleet loomed on the horizon, a wall of darkness blotting out the stars. Their ships pulsed with ominous energy, ancient and powerful beyond belief. The galaxy's fate hung by a thread. Commander Zara Malik stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, her eyes burning with determination. Around her, the crew moved with precision, ready for the last desperate battle. This is it, Zara said quietly, no turning back. The Endeavor led the Allied fleet into the heart of the enemy armada. Lasers flashed, engines roared, and the void exploded with fury. Explosions rocked the ship as enemy fire tore through shields. But the crew held steady. Every hit was met with a fierce counterattack. In the chaos, Jox and his boarding team infiltrated the enemy's flagship. Their mission? Destroy the core reactor and cripple the Dark Fleet's power. Inside the enemy ship, halls were cold and shadowed. Alien creatures snarled and attacked, but Jox's team fought on with unmatched courage. We don't stop, Jox growled. It's for the galaxy, for humanity. Back on the Endeavor, Sam raced to disable the enemy's superweapon. His fingers flew over the controls as alarms blared. Almost there, ... He muttered, sweat dripping from his brow. With a final command, the weapon's power systems collapsed. A deafening silence followed, broken only by the cheers from the crew. Outside, the tide of battle shifted. Enemy ships faltered and fell back. The Allied fleet pressed forward, relentless and fierce. Zara's voice rang out, push forward, for every world, for every life. Suddenly, the Dark Fleet unleashed a terrifying last attack, a wave of energy that threatened to tear the Endeavor apart. The ship shook violently. Lights flickered. The crew braced for impact, but then a blinding light burst from the war machine. They had earlier disabled. The ancient technology awoke once more, this time under Zara's control. The light cut through the darkness, shattering the enemy's wave and turning the tide forever. The Black Fleet scattered, defeated. The galaxy was safe for now. Zara looked out at the stars, her heart heavy but hopeful. This is our victory, she said, but the galaxy will never forget the cost. The crew gathered, tired but proud. They had faced impossible odds, and in the silence that followed, a new signal blinked on the sensors, a faint, distant call for help. Zara smiled grimly. To go. The fight goes on.